All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Living the Dream podcast. Today on the show, we have Alise Saunders, who is a digital nomad travel blogger. Alise, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thanks so much for asking. And we like to jump right in. So if you could start with just telling us a little bit more about yourself and what you like to do for fun, that'd be great.
For fun, it's living the dream that I'm currently living. I'm speaking to you right now from beautiful Santorini, Greece. Just living life every day for me is a ton of fun. And I love the job that I've been able to create for myself.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And so, how do you get started as a travel blogger, and how long does it typically take to get to that profitable point where you can live off the funds?
Sure. So, from a financial standpoint, I think of our finances kind of as a pie, right? So, digital nomad, meaning online. So, I actually own multiple businesses. So, my main digital nomad job, if you will, is one of my businesses that I created. I am a bookkeeper. And one of the awesome things that I decided once I left my corporate six-figure job, just because it was not fulfilling, I was like terribly sick, terribly unhappy, was I'm going to go out, I'm going to create this business. It was a virtual business, but I was still living in the same place that I had lived for a really long time, looking at the same four walls, doing the same things every single day. Like I didn't even have to be engaged in my life. My car knew how to go anywhere I wanted to go without me even paying attention, right? So unengaged in my everyday life. And so it was like, well, why? Like I already have a digital business. Why not take this traveling that I absolutely love to do and take this business on the road and do it from anywhere in the United States? At first, we spent 700 days traveling the US consecutively with no home. And we decided to take it internationally. And that's what we're doing now. But as far as how does it come about, honestly, it's really a decision to be a travel blogger. I got so much feedback from people when I said, hey, we are selling everything that we own or donating it. We are changing our entire life. Greg, my husband, is going to retire early. We are going to let go of the lease of our apartment. We are going to set out on the road with our two cats, no less, with everything left that we own in our vehicle. And we are going to travel the United States while I'm working. So many people said, oh my gosh, how did you do that? I want to know all of the things, right? Like how you're doing that legally from a resident standpoint to just how you're making the decisions of where to go and what to do and how you're balancing work and play. That I was like, there's so many people that want to do this. I can take all of the experience and lessons that I'm learning along the way, and I have the opportunity to share that with people so that they can live their best life. And so that's absolutely amazing.
Mm, I love it.
Yeah.
So, is Greg still retired? Like he's not working at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, Greg is never going to go back to work, I don't think.
I gotcha. I gotcha. So, one of your businesses, you have the blog, you have your bookkeeper. Is there anything
Mhm.
else you got going, or are those the main two?
So those are the main two that I'm working on right now. I do have a third business, but that is not something that I'm putting a lot of effort toward at the moment, especially because I really want to embrace Greece. I really want to enjoy being here. And so it's really finding the balance of being able to play and work every single day right now. Um, I really want to take advantage of this incredible opportunity to eat all of the food, to go all of the places, to sit on a beach and just enjoy the water and the day and, do tours and just walk and putts and enjoy. So I am really playing during the day, and then at nighttime here in Greece is daytime, morning over in the US with where my clients are located. And so the evening allows me to get logged on, to communicate with clients, to have meetings, catch up on my work. And so I'm really trying to not overwhelm myself with so much that I am not enjoying it and having fun, right? So I'm the boss, I'm in charge. I get to make these decisions of when I work, how I work, for how long I work, all of those types of things. So really just finding that balance.
Mm, I love it. Well, tell us a bit more about your motivation. What really gets you up and keeps you going every day?
My desire to actually fully live life, because it was something that up to this point I did not feel like I was doing. I just felt like I was completely numb. I felt like I was completely unengaged with my life. I didn't feel happiness. I didn't feel sadness. I just felt nothing. I was just meandering through life. Life was just happening. I was not manifesting. I was not directing. I did not feel like I was fully living. I didn't feel like I took any risks. I played everything completely safe. And so just the realization of how short life is, that I just truly want to fully live this life. I want to experience all of the things that life has to offer. And my commitment to being the best version of myself that I can possibly be within this life that I have been given. So that gets me up every day, and being able to be on the road and constantly in a brand new place. We just got to Santorini yesterday, and I'm already here talking with you. And, but we're here in Greece for a year. We're going to like 15 different Airbnbs while we are here. And so there's just constantly something new, something to engage with, people to meet, experiences to have. And that definitely helps get me up, get me out, get me going, right? Got to go out and really enjoy what is outside my front door every day.
I love it. That's so awesome that you realized that you weren't engaged, you wanted to be engaged in life, and you just kind of uprooted yourself, decide to take some risks, decide to kind of put
Yeah.
yourself in a position where you have to be engaged because stuff's not routine anymore. Stuff is new, and you
Well,
keep it new.
especially being in a foreign country, we're very blessed that so many people speak English, but there's varying degrees of speaking English, right? And so, trying to communicate what we need or where we're trying to go or ask questions, um, it really keeps you on your toes on a regular basis, trying to communicate with people. Um, just because it can be very difficult. There's lots of context clues, lots of pointing, lots of finger gesturing, lots of using the translator app sometimes, so really being in a foreign country even takes that to the next level. There's so many things here that Greg and I have just had to like really bring it back. Just take a deep breath, really sit, really think about things, really try and figure out how something is working or how we can make something work. Because things are different here. Things are really, really different. The letters are not even our alphabet, right? So when we look at things, we're like, what even is that letter? Like, what is that letter? Because we're trying to think and translate. And so it really requires being in a foreign country to be on that next level of engagement with your life. And that is just really part of the adventure, part of the excitement, part of that personal growth and expansion opportunity.
Gotcha. I'm curious if it ever gets exhausting. Like I feel like for me, I would just be absolutely exhausted from being so engaged all the time.
Sometimes it does. I mean, I'll be honest, especially coming here, because it is on such a next level. I like to, people say, "How is it driving in Greece?" I'm like, if you can imagine driving through a tornado in a vehicle, that's what it's like to drive here in Greece, especially in Athens. And, you know, even trying to do laundry really took us a lot of time to try and figure out their dials. And some of the washers are also dryers. And so we thought we were turning on the dryer, but we really washed the clothes a second time instead. And you know, just you know, looking at products in the grocery store, like I thought I was buying rice and I actually bought pasta. So, you know, it's so, but I mean, it's fun, but it can be exhausting, you know, especially when you get to a brand new place like we are in Santorini. We're driving off the ferry. There's this tornado effect of traffic, and we're trying to navigate, and we're going uphill at a 30% grade with a stick shift that we're still trying to get used to driving here in Greece. And you know, somebody's on our bumper behind us, but we know we're going to slide back as soon as we try to go forward. And
Yeah.
you know, and we're trying to figure out where to go and how to get to our Airbnb, and sometimes Google doesn't always take us the right way. And so yeah, I mean, it can sometimes be overwhelming and exhausting, and we certainly slept very hard last night. But we were also very excited to see a brand new beach today, to go to a bakery for breakfast, and you know, just start the day because we're in Santorini.
Yeah.
So it just keeps you going.
I love it. I love it. I love your energy behind it too, because I don't know if I'd be so bubbly after all that. But I love it. That's so cool. It's so cool. And is it something you guys see yourself doing just for the rest of your life, or is it like a 5 year, 10 year stint, or a digital nomad for as long as you can see forward?
That's a really great question. It's one that we get fairly regularly. And the truth is that as long as we are excited and engaged about travel, and we have the financial means in order to do it, we have the health in order to do it, we're going to keep going. The short answer is that we are just going with the flow. We both agreed that the moment that one of us doesn't want to do it anymore, that we're just not feeling it for whatever reason, then we stop, right? So there's no 5 year, 10 year plan that we're locking ourselves into. Every day we just get up and we're extraordinarily grateful to have this experience. We continue to work to manifest more of these types of experiences. And whenever we don't want to do it, we stop. That's it.
There we go. Going with the flow. Honestly,
Yep.
it's the best way to do it. Like,
It is. Yes, it is.
yeah, just let things happen kind of naturally. And there's some positioning that happens in order to go with the flow. I'm not saying there is
Yes.
no intention that needs to be kind of put forth in life, but when you put that intention and it's an intention from the heart, that's what kind of going with the flow is. It's not no intention, it's intention from the heart, not your brain.
Right.
Anyway, love it. Well, let's
Or
go.
control, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, not overly trying to control every aspect of something. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. Well, awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into your dreams and goals. It seems like you're living them, but what's your vision for your
I
life
am.
and your businesses or
Well, I want to continue to grow my bookkeeping business, which it continues to happen. I've added some additional clients recently. So the ability to expand is very exciting. Taking on new bookkeeping projects, because I'm not just a bookkeeper. I have lots of services within that financial realm that I offer clients. And I have clients who are also expanding that have been with me for years. And that's really exciting. as a bookkeeper to be part of their dreams, right? As a financial advisor to help them get from this point A to the point B where they are able to expand their businesses. And now I'm enjoying seeing them reach their goals and their dreams, right? So I get to be a part of that. And that is just fantastic. Taking the digital nomad information that I have within my business international is also really fun and exciting to show people who are afraid to even become a digital nomad in the States. But let's really blow your mind and let's talk about being a digital nomad in a foreign country, right? And all the things that come with. And just my hope to be able to inspire other people who are loving traveling, but who are afraid to let go of the construct of the typical life that we are told from when we're super tiny that we're supposed to build, which is, you know, we call it the dream house, right? You want your dream house, your dream job, your dream car, all of this stuff. And I had all that and went, wait a minute, is this it? Like, I've worked all this time for these things. And so hoping that I can inspire people to tap into that travel dream and to overcome the limiting beliefs in order to be able to live that dream for themselves, whatever it looks like, because there's a million digital nomads and a million ways to digital nomad. There's no cookie cutter box. And that's the other thing that I love about the digital nomad life. So really just hoping to continue to inspire people, and then just continue to manifest additional travels and experiences. That's my biggest dream, right? What is there for 2024 that I can open some doors with the universe? Is it Portugal? Is it Spain? Is it France? Right? So just really excited about what that next opportunity might be, while still really staying focused on being very present with where I am, because we are so indoctrinated to either live in the future or live in the past. We forget to live today, right now, in this moment, like I'm here with you. And so just, you know, there's that fine line between manifesting and living in the future, right? So, yeah, those are my goals.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And what is the like you mentioned two things that I kind of want to dive into. One,
Yeah.
overcoming limiting beliefs,
Mhm.
and two, walking that fine line between manifesting and living in the present. And how can
Mhm.
living in the present help you manifest? So that was a lot of questions. So feel free to take your time.
Well, hopefully I remember them all. So I would say the limiting beliefs to start with, I had so many. I had so many to overcome. And I had so many general fears in my life to overcome. I was just basically afraid of everything. I was afraid of living. I was afraid of dying. I was afraid of going outside and being accosted. I was afraid of hiking and, falling down a ravine and dying. I just had so many fears that throughout my life, the parents in my life, the family members in my life, everybody was modeling fear for me, that the world was something to be so afraid of, and you had to live every moment of every day with caution. There was no one in my life who was modeling living full tilt, fully embracing risk, fully embracing adventure, for me. And so I just spent my whole life being so afraid. So when I wanted more, when I wanted to fully live, I had to hit those fears head on. I was even afraid of bridges and water. So you can imagine how working through that, being on the road, the first 6 months was really difficult because I was constantly through this process of being on the road, coming in contact with massive bridges. There was the Chesapeake Bridge. I was trying to go see wild horses on the beach and did not notice in my trajectory of travel, and I was in the car alone, by the way, Gregg was not with me, that I was going to have to cross the Chesapeake Bridge, which is one of the top 5 most terrifying, largest bridges in the United States. And I don't know how I didn't pass out, urinate on myself, right? There was crying, there was heavy breathing. I had like lock fingers on the steering wheel. I was shaking, hyperventilating, like full trauma, right? Like barely got across the bridge. I literally thought I'm going to pull over. I'm just going to pull over and I'm going to stop. And, I'm not going to do this. I'm just not going to finish crossing this bridge. That's all there is to it. And so, but I kept pushing and, got across the bridge, fully traumatized, hysterical, crying, all of this, but made it over. But these are the types of things that it's like I'm putting a lot of effort, intention, and work with a trusted spiritual advisor to determine, where did this fear come from? Why do I have it? How can I overcome it? How can I continue to practice working through it in my everyday life? How can I change the voices in my head when I'm on a bridge from this is terrifying, I'm going to die, to this is fun, look at that beautiful view, oh my gosh, isn't this great? I have this opportunity to practice overcoming this fear. I'm having fun. I would tell myself that a million times. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. I'm having fun on this bridge, right? Trying to change the energy being on that bridge and trying to overcome that fear. So then there were the limiting beliefs of, I need a house, I need roots, I need security, I need to be in the same place, I need to be where people know me, where my family is, right? I need to be in a place that I'm familiar with in order to feel safe. And so there were so many limiting beliefs that I needed to overcome and do the work inside of myself to figure out, where is this thought coming from? Where is this belief originating from? What am I saying to myself every time this is coming up for me? And the ultimate carrot is, what do I want more? Do I want this belief? Do I want these roots? Do I want this comfortability? Or do I want to live this amazing life? Do I want to fully live and fully be engaged and experience this constant change, which is going to create an entire evolution, a brand new me that I have never met before, right? To become the best version, the most powerful, the most fearless, driven, dynamic version of me. What do I want more? To be comfortable or to go be her? I said, nothing is going to stop me from being this version of myself that I know that I can be. So I've got to choose every day to work to let go of this crap that's holding me back and holding me down from experiencing that.
So it was a combination of inner work and then just decision to take action. It sounds like
absolutely. Without the inner work, I would not be here. Period. End of story. Would not be here. Those fears were too ingrained, too entrenched. It took years, honestly. It took several years of serious, committed work to delve into the deepest, blackest holes within my soul, to step into all of the traumas in my life, to feel it, to heal it, to release it, and to overcome, not through ignoring, but overcoming those situations, those traumas, those fears by stepping into my most powerful self that I did not even know existed before that inner work. So no, I would not be here if it had not been for that inner work, because it was that intensive to help me achieve my goals and dreams.
Mm, I gotcha. And that inner work, it sounded like it was a lot of kind of self-awareness work and figuring out where the beliefs came from. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's, I have heard of a very famous person say things like, "Oh, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that work. You just have to believe in yourself that you can overcome and transcend." And I think that that is a horrible disservice to people, because until you know where this is coming from, until you have awareness of where it is popping up and how it is popping up, because it's usually not just one little thing that this belief is occupying space in your life. It's like tentacles, right? Where everything is connected, connected, connected. And so when you identify the origin, if you're able to, sometimes you can't, but at least create that awareness of, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I saying to myself, to others? Where is this ingrained in my life, my behaviors, my repetitions in my life? Only then can you go, oh, I don't choose that for myself. I don't choose to do that, to say that, to believe that. And so now it becomes, how do I replace that with something that empowers me, that helps me to reach my goals, rather than disempowering me, that keeps me caged and locked into this life or this belief or this limiting capacity that I currently am experiencing. And so only by having that awareness and making the constant intention to be engaged, to go, oh, there it is. Oh, look what I just said. Well, okay, let's choose something different the next time, and constantly working on that until the new becomes part of you, right? That becomes ingrained in you, fully integrated. Can you then transcend that? And now you're becoming that next level of yourself. You've overcome that one, and now we go on to the next one. Sometimes I can have 5 or 10 limiting beliefs that I'm working on all at the same time. And so trying to build awarenesses about each one, but also seeing how they are integrated with each other. And so once you start hitting that, then they all just kind of disintegrate. They all kind of just fall away. And then that brings space for that new version of yourself to behave, to act within your life. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. And I like that you said, like, without that inner work, you can't even start to believe in yourself, because it's like you'll be missing stuff just because you're not aware of how you're being limited. And so you'll have a limiting belief that's just clamping you down or making you act a certain way or attracting a certain environment to you. And because you're not aware that it is a thing that isn't universal. Like, it's not like you don't need to hold that belief like you need to eat every day. That is not. And honestly, needing to eat every day could even be a limiting belief, because there are people who fast. So,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And so it's like, just how it can hold you back when you're not aware of it. That awareness is key, because with the awareness, like you're saying, you can then recognize the thought and then choose to think something else. So,
Well, even the things that I've said, I mean, with the awareness, I'm like, what the heck did I just say? Like,
yep.
why did I say that? That was terrible.
Uh-huh.
Like, or why did I just think that about myself because something happened? I caught myself going, "Oh, you're a terrible person." And it's like, "Hold on. Wait a minute. No.
Mhm.
Let's look at this. Let's really take this deeper." But it's about intention. It's about taking the time to put a pause on life and to go, hold on, what's going on here? I just had this thought that I was not enough, that, I was a bad person. I know that's not true. I'm showing up every day in my life trying to look at the words that I'm saying, because I acknowledge now how incredibly powerful every thought, every action, every word that I either say to someone else or I say to myself is. And so it's taking the time to really look at that opens up a lot of opportunity and insight into myself so that I can continue to change myself in a better way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just sometimes blown away at the things that come out of my mouth. And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I feel the need to open my mouth and say that in that very moment? Or why did I think that terrible thing about myself? I'm still really blown away sometimes by that. And thank God for awareness, because I can't imagine all the stupid crap that I have said through my life where I was just not paying attention, or I thought that, I was being helpful. And I'm like, oh my Lord, that was terrible,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really been eye-opening.
For sure. For sure. Well, awesome. What are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop? Right. Wait, we only talked about
Yeah,
limiting
I
beliefs.
only answered one of your questions.
And I had like 2 other questions. Great.
Sorry. I mean, that one is such an important one. I did not want to do it an injustice and make it so short, because that question, honestly, is like the crux of life, right? We are filled with limiting beliefs that are holding us back. And if we don't identify what those are and we don't spend the time to delve into it, we're going to continue to perpetuate behaviors that no longer serve us. And we're going to keep getting what we've always gotten, right? So I didn't want to do a disservice and run through that one. The balance between being engaged and manifesting. From a manifestation point, I can tell you what I know as of today, which might be different than what I know tomorrow, which is feel like you have it in your body, right? That manifestation for me is not about getting or doing or having the actual thing. It's feeling the experience. And I'll give you an example. I went to this park and I wanted to see this particular owl. I love birds, by the way. Anyone who knows me knows I am crazy about animals, crazy about birds. And I wanted to see this owl. It was an owl I had not seen. And so someone said, it is in this tree right here, and it comes out about this time. So I went early, I camped out, I was at the tree, I like gave it obviously space. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I am going to manifest the what out of this situation. I'm sitting here. And so I was imagining seeing the owl, how excited I would be, how beautiful the owl was. I imagined, it like popping up and like, posing a little bit for me, giving me like the little winky eye, and how cool that would be, and how long I've waited to see this owl, and how amazing it would feel. And I just felt nothing but joy and exhilaration and exuberance in my body over seeing this owl. Do you know, I left the park never having seen the owl, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter, because the experience that I felt in my body was real. It was as real as if I had seen it. I saw the owl in my mind's eye. It was beautiful. It was incredible. We had this moment, this connection. I felt it. My whole body was alive and on fire, and it didn't matter. And to date, I have still never yet seen that owl, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because I did. I had it. I had the full owl experience, right? And so the important thing is to feel the joy, to, if you're manifesting a coat, You want to feel like you've got the coat on. You want to feel the material. You want to feel the warmth. You want to let it make you feel sexy or fun, or, you know, however that coat makes you feel. You want to have that moment. You've got it. It's on your body. You're enjoying it. You see yourself walking through, you know, Times Square, wherever it is that you live, you know, strutting your stuff with your beautiful coat on, having a great time, and let it go. And then let it go, right? I'm not living every moment of every day in that coat, you know, thinking about the coat. I am just allowing myself that moment. I am working in my life these steps on a daily basis that get me toward whatever that thing is that I'm trying to manifest. So I'm putting actions toward it. But it would be no different than you saying, okay, I am going to go hiking tomorrow. So tonight I'm going to grab my backpack. I got my water ready. I got my snacks, right? You might have to run to the store to get the snacks. And so we're going to put the backpack together and all that stuff. Okay, you know, I am ready to go. But so you do the actions, but every moment of every day in my life, I am also trying to be present with what I am doing, right? I pack the backpack, I put it over there, it's ready to go. But I don't stop the rest of my life and think about the backpack or the hike or whatever it is. So it's really about, okay, that's that. Now I can turn and I'm going to be very engaged and very present with what I'm doing now. And I'm going to continue to allow myself to feel the excitement that's happening right now in my life, the excitement about, you know, the hike or the trip for tomorrow. And so it's just about that balance of continuing to be present, doing the actions that get me further and further toward the thing that I'm trying to manifest, allowing myself to feel that in my body, but then letting it go and letting the universe continue to open doors that get me there, while also, and this is the most important key for me, is allowing myself to still stay open, because maybe I wake up tomorrow and I don't feel like going hiking anymore, which is okay. It is okay to wish and work toward, and at any point go, things change. This is no longer the thing. The universe opened up this great opportunity because somebody called me and said, hey, do you want to go here? I'm not going to say, no, I'm going hiking today because that's what I committed to yesterday and I've made all these actions. It's about going with the flow, being open to opportunities that the universe brings you, because sometimes the thing that I think would be the best for me is not what the universe thinks, which is what is best for me. And so if I said no to all of these amazing opportunities that came along, those have often ended up being the most exciting, the most cool, the most exhilarating things. And by allowing myself to stay open to other possibilities, then, you know, I get to experience these incredible things. So changing course and allowing myself permission to change at any time. As I like to say, I'm a quitter. I love being a quitter. I'm going to quit that and start something else. And that's okay, right? Those are often the most fun and exciting things. So be open to whatever the universe brings to you.
I love it. And I love how you talked about doing the actions that are going to prepare you to get the result that you are seeking to manifest, but then also being present enough to feel the joy and satisfaction of being in the act of literally manifesting that thing by doing the actions. And
Exactly.
yeah, I really like that because law of attraction, it's been fairly new for me. Like I started reading like success
Okay.
literature and stuff, probably a
Yeah.
couple, I mean, fairly new. I'm 23 and I started reading a couple years ago. So my life has a short perspective.
Sure.
But I didn't quite get it until I saw this scripture in the Bible, and I, have been going to church for a while, but they never talk about the law of attraction in the Bible. It's too like kind of woo woo.
Mhm.
But I was reading Hebrews, and I think that's where they talk about like the Hall of Fame of faith, and they have all these people who are like praised for the faith that they had. I also didn't understand the
Right.
concept of faith until I
Mhm.
really started diving into the law of attraction. And when they were describing these people who had things by faith, it was talking as if it didn't matter that they never actually saw the result of what they had by faith because they
Right.
literally had it by faith. Like in that moment,
Yes.
just like you sitting there with the bird and you were visualizing the bird and you were having that great experience and you said my feelings were real in that moment. It's like you saw that bird. Like that's
Oh,
just it.
totally.
And
Yeah.
it's like because everything in your body and your whole experience was as if you saw the bird. That is like literally having something in the moment by faith. And it took the law of attraction to another level for me, and it took faith to another level for me, and it showed me it actually kind of shined the light on some other limiting beliefs I have, because it's like all the stuff when you're like dealing in the fear emotion or negative emotion, you're like you're getting stuff by fear. Like you're having stuff by fear, not by faith. And so you like it just made everything make so much more sense of like, yeah, if you spend you're up 16 hours and you spend 15 of those hours feeling crappy or doing things based on fear, and then you tend to get crappy stuff or fear-based stuff, it's like it makes sense because you were having all that stuff by that fear that you were feeling that whole day, which is still like kind of intangible, but it's all starting to like piece together for me where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like it's way different out here than what they tell us growing up. That is for
It
sure.
is. And when I was doing my inner work, I talked about my spiritual guide that was helping me through this process of the inner work, which I could not have done without her. But probably around this topic, one of the most mind blowing things that she ever said to me, and I'm like, why did you wait 2 years to say this sentence to me? Um, and I'm going to not speak it very well. She said it perfectly to me that day. So I'm going to super paraphrase here. But basically, she said, Alise, you are always manifesting, always. Every word, every thought, every action, every feeling, everything. And so you are either replaying the past or you are creating your new future. And so it goes back to the saying, which I think we're probably all really familiar with, that, something about if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten.
Mhm.
And, when you think about that from a manifestation standpoint, if I don't change my behavior, if I don't change my thoughts, if I don't change my actions, if I just continue to do what I've always done as a person, my future is guaranteed to look exactly like my past.
Yeah.
I am guaranteed to repeat cycles, behaviors, and results. So if we don't like where we've been, the way that we change that is to change who we are today, to change how we think, to change how we speak, to change our actions. And so, literally, if you look at what Greg and I have done, we wanted a totally different life. And so, when I talk about changing actions, like look at what we did. We let go of our lease. We sold or donated our stuff. We packed our stuff into a vehicle. We left with no home. We packed two cats into a vehicle and we drove off,
Yep.
right? And we just said, starting tomorrow, this is the life that we've envisioned over the past few months. And starting tomorrow, we're just going to live that life. And therefore, we became different people because of those actions and choices. but the life that we had created for ourselves in the future by saying we're going to go to all of these places and we're going to do all of these things, and right, and then the people that we met along the way who influenced who we were and who we would become, that then just took us to even the next level in ways that we could not even fathom or have even said, hey, I want to be this person. Like, we could not have even fathomed who we would become. But that's how it works. Like, we changed everything. And therefore, our lives became completely different. And within our lives, we became completely different. So that is what I'm saying. You want something different? Just wake up and become somebody else then. You can do it. It really is as simple as that. We make it a lot more complicated. We really do. But that inner work along the way really helped me to be able to get there.
I love it. Well, nice. I think we got all 3 questions now. I think we've covered
Okay, excellent.
I appreciate you diving into that. And, the more I like get into life, I'm like, yeah, that really is just the only thing that it's the only thing. It is the only thing.
Yep, it really is.
Like your beliefs and what beliefs you are operating off of on a daily basis, whether consciously or unconsciously, the only thing that makes or breaks your life, for sure.
And most of them are unconscious. And that makes it all the more imperative that you get consciousness within your life. You become conscious about all the things that we've talked about, because only through awareness can you change it. Otherwise, you're going to repeat it. I know that even sitting here today, I'm repeating a bunch of stuff that doesn't serve me. It's a lifelong process. There's no box that I'm going to get to check and go, okay, I'm done with that. Like it's a lifelong process that I'll continue to work through. And the choices, the new beliefs, the new parts of me at some point will probably no longer serve me, and I'll have to say goodbye to this version of myself, right? And so it's about embracing change. That has been very difficult. I thought I was great at change. I actually sucked at change. And so, going through this evolution, knowing that it's constant change within your life, and to evolve as an individual, I have to embrace that change. I have to lean into it. Now I'm asking for it, right? Yeah. Getting on the road, being in a constant state of change on the road. I never get to put my toothbrush in the same place, right? I never know the grocery store like the back of my hand anymore. I never know where we're driving. We don't know the streets. Ever. And so constant state of change really has helped us to embrace more change, to not be fearful of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Well, cool. We got about 13 minutes left, and we've done so much on limiting beliefs that I think we're just going to carry on with the dreams and goals. Usually we have a whole section of the podcast dedicated to limiting beliefs at the end, but we've covered.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I jumped the gun there.
No. I'm totally happy to jump around, and I'm the one who asked the question, right? There we go. Well, what are the top? I'm curious about your answers on these, like if they're even relevant questions for you, but what are the top 1 to 2 skills that you need to develop right now to make these dreams continue to come true?
I need to continue to learn to not take things personally. When you do work on yourself, you realize that a lot of what you project out to the world has everything to do with what's going on inside of you and very little to do with them, right? So a lot of the experiences that I have with the rest of the world are triggers, right? I've been triggered by something, the way somebody smelled, the way that somebody moved their arms, the way that they said something, how I interpreted that information and the feelings that came up for me. And so I'm really working on the opposite, which is if someone else is having a moment, to understand what happens with me from my perspective, that it probably isn't me when the shoe is on the other foot, right? So if somebody is having a moment, my immediate thing, because I've been indoctrinated to please everyone in my life, is to go, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? What did I say? What did I do? And so to just look at someone else's response and acknowledge that's within them. This really probably doesn't have a single thing to do with me,
Yeah.
and to be okay in that space. It's still really difficult, especially when it's someone that I significantly love, like a child, a significant other, those types of things where there's even more emotional depth and connection, to not take things personally. That is something that I am really working on and trying to change the verbiage that's going on in my head about, oh, you're a terrible person, look at what you did, or those sorts of things. It's like, okay, no, I really don't think this has anything to do with me. I think that this is something going on with that person. They've been triggered. This is their response. It's their responsibility to work through their triggers, not my responsibility to help them work through their triggers. And so, just trying to get comfortable in that uncomfortable space is really the biggest thing that I'm working on. Other skills is just continuing to try to go with the flow, especially being here in Greece, in a foreign country. Like I talked about the traffic, I talked about trying to go to the grocery store and figure out, the food situation, which is just continuing to learn to, it's okay. Everything is okay. I have trust and faith in myself to figure everything out in the moment, make the best decision that I can, trying to have the most fun and adventure that I possibly can, but just continue to go with the flow and just enjoy the bumps and the adventure along the way.
Mm, I love it. I love the learning not to take things personally. I feel like that's also one of those lifelong things because you're
It
always
is.
identifying some triggers in yourself. But I also feel like it's
Yeah.
one of the things that leads to greater compassion, because when you have learned that it's not something wrong with you and you've kind of done some work with your own ego, so you're not always thinking about yourself, you can look at the other person and see that if they're being belligerent, or if they're like triggered or angry or sad or whatever it is, it's because they're hurting. And
Mhm.
then you can like understand that it's not an attack on you. And then you can actually step into those situations and hold space to seek to understand them,
Exactly.
which is really cool. Well, awesome. What are the highest impact daily actions that are going to tick the needle forward towards these dreams and goals for you?
I think that it's different every day, just really figuring out what is in my heart for that day and doing the thing that I feel inspired to do every single day. Maybe today I'm going to, look at inspirational Airbnbs in Portugal because that might be fun. Or, today I'm going to work on some business things so that I can get that next client. Or, even though we're not going to be in Crete for another 4 weeks, typically I don't look at things to do anywhere that we're going that's in the future, because I really try not to overly plan. But who knows, maybe it is like, oh hey, I want to get excited about that, so let me go and look at some things that there are to do. But the biggest thing really, again, all those are more futuristic. The biggest challenge for me is to continue to figure out how to be present in my current life, how to really focus on this moment. I can't tell you how many times I've been at lunch or seen someone that I haven't seen for a really long time, and I feel like they spent more time looking at the messages on their watch than in my eyeballs. And so, when we can really fully be present with the person or the activity or the experience or the situation that is before us right in that moment, the more engaging and the more fulfilling our life will truly be. So just continuing to not allow myself to be distracted by a lot of things happening within life, but to give my full attention to something, and allow myself to feel how I'm feeling, to allow myself to feel happy if I'm happy, and allow myself to feel sad if I feel sad. So, and all of the emotional range in between, right? So many of us go through life unengaged with how we feel in that moment. And the feelings, our emotions are the key to understanding our life and also having the most fulfilled life. So I think that all of those things are things that I am continuing to practice right now in order to have the best life.
Mm, I love it. I love it. Well, what character trait do you most need to develop right now to make these dreams and goals come true?
I would say always patience. I would say always patience, continuing to have patience, patience with myself, patience with the things that I'm manifesting, because we can just want them to, materialize right this second. And I do believe that there is a dimension where things materialize and manifest instantly, but in the human experience it's a little bit harder to do because we have all these limiting beliefs and things like that. So until I get to the point of instant manifestation and materialization of that manifestation, it's going to be patience on getting there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like patience is such an interesting thing. Like I've been talking about it with my brother because we're young and we're ambitious and we're like we have goals and dreams that we're trying people we want to impact, stuff that we want to do for our families, and it's just like but patience is like key into like making good decisions, but then it's also like why am I not patient? Like that's
Mhm.
such a strange thing to think about cuz you've been talking about being fully engaged, being in the now,
Mhm.
being present. And it's like, I feel like any lack of patience you have is really just a lack of being fully immersed in your now because you have an expectation of where you should be and your
Mhm.
present isn't matching your expectation. And so that dissonance there is your where you think you need patience. It's like
Mhm.
maybe it's not patience you need as much as like to be fully immersed in the now. And then like even with the manifesting stuff immediately, when you have it by faith, to trust that you have it by faith. When you've manifested it in the other realm, it's like, no, it is manifested. I do have it. And like to live for that experience, I feel like it's such an but then that seems so impractical to your daily life. Like it's just so interesting to like have those two of like, I know there's something there, but then I have everything else, literally everything else telling me it's the exact opposite.
Opposite. Well,
Yeah.
that's the difficulty of being human in the human experience, right? Because I can have anything. I can have any life. I can have any physical thing. I can have any amount of money, right? It's all there when my energy meets that thing. Boom, there it is. It's right there for me. And so, I can have absolutely anything. It's all available to me. It's just all of these things in the human existence that say that's not possible. Right now, it now comes in all the limiting beliefs. Am I enough? Do I deserve that thing? What would I do with it? How would it work? Right? We want to have all these details figured out. So many people have anxiety. It's like, okay, I have to think about every possible scenario so that I can be ready. And like all these things in the human experience, we get so caught up in all of this kind of insanity stuff,
Mhm.
that it puts a lot of distance between us and that faith that you're talking about, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we got one last question for you. You ready?
I am.
if there are one or two people you can meet right now, and this could be a specific person or a type of person, and they'd really help you take that next step towards your dreams and goals, who would they be? How would they help?
This might be really odd. I wonder if anybody has ever said this. I would love to meet myself in 15 years,
Mhm.
and I would love to meet the pure non-human self of me, whether that you call that your higher self, your soul, the self that is with source, the purest. Because what an incredible opportunity. If I were to meet me 15 years from now, I can hardly even imagine the incredible things that I have overcome, seen, done, walked through fire and hell in order to become her, the amount of strength that she would have, the amount of things that she would learn and have insights into why we are where we are, and all the things that she has overcome. And then to meet my most pure self, the strongest, the non-traumatized, the just essence of divinity, the most divine version of myself, without flaws, without judgment, without anything, just to be able to see myself as I really truly am. That would just be amazing. It would help me continue to have the courage and faith to move forward. And honestly, I try to think about who those versions of myself are. I imagine, just like I did with the owl, I see myself, I feel her strength, I feel her purity, her self-love, her divinity. I feel all of those things. And I'm like, I know I'm going to get there. And it does give me the courage and strength and conviction and commitment to continue to do self-work, to stay self-aware, that even though when I'm exhausted, I'm going to lay it down, but I'm going to get back up tomorrow and I'm going to keep moving myself forward, because I know that I can be those versions of myself.
Mm, I love it. Well, awesome. Alise, that's all we got for you. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
Of course, yeah, it's been a great time. And if people want to reach out to you, find out more about you, where do they go?
Untamedsoul.info. So it's Tales from an Untamed Soul is our digital nomad travel blog. We have all sorts of incredible resources, including ones on limiting beliefs. So to help people get on the road.
Love it. Love it. Well, awesome. If you guys are listening to this and you loved what Alise had to say, make sure to check her out. All the links to do so will be down in the show notes. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.